Hello, scholars. Welcome to day 4 of your online learning experience. Today is Thursday. It is March 19th. Today we are going to wrap up our week with a synthesis writing prompt. So let's take a look at the objective. Today we're going to work to synthesize text and media to write in response to an open-ended prompt. We're going to use claims and evidence to support our responses. All right. Now you'll see various links throughout this PowerPoint, which is also attached to Google Classroom. This link will open to another document that will show you how you're graded. I actually put the slide in this presentation though, so I'm not going to open it. All right, so here's your prompt for today, and this is what your document will look like on the classwork assignment on Google Classroom. I'm going to ask that you type your answers in blue. So you're just going to delete where it says type your answer and put your name in, delete where it says teacher and put your teacher's names in, and put the date here. And here we go. So this is asking you to compare and contrast the two different stories about refugees. So we have the true story about the Holocaust refugees on the SS St. Louis, and then you have the true story about the Rohingya refugees in Burma or Myanmar. So the prompt is going to give you targeted ways and questions to answer in your response, and you have to decide how you're going to organize your answer. So which questions are you going to answer in a paragraph together? What questions are you going to answer in the next paragraph? And then are you going to have 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs? Are you going to put an introduction and a conclusion? It's up to you. Do you think that the United States and other countries should intervene in Myanmar? Myanmar is also known as Burma. Why or why not? In what ways is this situation similar to or different from the one you read about in the article about the St. Louis during World War II? More broadly speaking, why do you think that genocides continue to occur around the world, even though after the Holocaust, the whole world said, quote, never again? Your response should be at least 250 words. In order to check the word count, you just highlight your text and you would just highlight the part that you wrote. So don't highlight the instructions. Highlight just the part you wrote, and you would click Control, Shift, and C, and that will tell you how many words you have. All right. Here is the rubric and the grading. I highly recommend that you look at the rubric that is attached to Google Classroom or built into Google Classroom, because it will give you a more specific idea of like how many points out of 30 you will get if you answer most of the questions instead of all of the questions, or how many points you will lose if your response is 200 words and not 250 words. But it's broken down. It's going to be a 100-point quiz grade. 30 points will go to your claims that you've answered every question in that prompt. So again, you want to think about how are you going to organize your answers, which ones are you going to put together in which paragraphs, and then I would check off the questions as you answer them, because that is a large chunk of your rubric points. You'll also get 10 points for supplying an explanation and paraphrased evidence to support the claim. You'll get 10 points for citing textual evidence using explicit quotations. I do want you to practice the in-text citations that you worked on No Red Ink on Monday and Tuesday. So I'm going to ask that you cite some evidence. It might be hard to cite direct quotes from the video, but you can. The video does have words on it. It's not really, it has a lot of text on the bottom that you could pause and then type in. And you also have the article with quotations. The next one is going to kind of push you to use quotes from all of the sources, because it says that you get 10 points for supplying evidence from multiple sources. So if you only supply from one source, that's not multiple. So that would not meet that criteria. You get 10 points for quotations and doing the in-text citations accurately. 10 points for the response being at least 250 words. 10 points for running your response through Grammarly and checking that it has minimal grammatical errors, and then 10 points for completing the heading and making sure it's turned in on time. This assignment is due at 8 a.m. on the next class day, which would be Monday. All right. So you have these 3 sources. I'm just going to quickly give you an help with the in-text citation, what you would put in the parentheses after a direct quote or a paraphrase. Remember, if you're paraphrasing evidence, you still need to cite that evidence and where it came from. So you should put parentheses with the source after paraphrased evidence and quotations. So both of these, paraphrase needs an in-text citation, textual evidence with a quotation needs in-text citations. So here was the article. It comes from this website, and the source is WBUR. You can check out the website if you click on the link. It will tell you, it tells you the title of the source as well. And then you have these 2 videos, which are both from CNN. Right, source CNN. So here are your in-text citations. You would have your quoted text. If you were doing the article, in parentheses, it would have the source, parentheses, the punctuation. Notice there's 1 space here. It's a website, so it doesn't have page numbers, so I don't need a page number. The second one is a little trickier, or more tricky, because both of these videos come from the same source. They're both CNN. So if you just put in parentheses CNN, I won't know which source of CNN's you are citing. So with this case, you need to put the title of the video as well. So you would put quoted or paraphrased text, you'd put CNN, and then you would put the title of the article, the ending parenthesis, and the punctuation. If you have any questions about your citations, please ask before you turn it in. And you could ask me, you could ask Mrs. Rudder, you can ask a peer. All right, so let's just very quickly look at the assignment. Now, this assignment looks long, but it's asking you to go through a number of steps to make sure that you get a nice grade and you fully demonstrate your ability with this prompt, because it is a quiz grade. So it's asking you to view the video that I'm making right now, review the prompt, look at the rubric. Again, please look at the rubric on Google Classroom, because it's going to tell you more clearly what number of points you get for what criteria in the descriptions. And so that'll run you through all of the ones that are on that list, but a little more detailed. Decide how you're going to organize your response. What are you going to do? How many paragraphs are you going to have? What questions are you going to answer in each paragraph? Design clear claims to answer all the questions. Again, that's 30 points. Make sure that you're clearly answering all of the questions. Find supporting evidence for your claims. You're going to have to rewatch those videos, reread the article, type out some of the evidence. Find supporting evidence, number 5, for your claims and answers. Make sure you've used evidence from all 3 sources. Make sure you've used paraphrased evidence and quoted evidence. Be sure you've explained your claims and your evidence. Check your in-text citations. You have the PowerPoint I was just showing you right here. The last slide has the in-text citations. Use Grammarly to check your grammar and then turn it in. And remember, you can use Grammarly as long as you are signed in and it is an extension on your browser. You should be able to use it. Once it shows you a green little arrow down here, that means it's checked your document and it hasn't found any errors. So for instance, if I then add an error, like I spell error wrong, it's going to show up and tell me that it's wrong. And over here, it's going to give me a 1. And if I hover over it, it's going to give me some guesses. Now it doesn't even know I meant to write error, but I'm going to be able to change my response. If you have any questions, I'll be online with Mrs. Rudder. Office hours are 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Otherwise, please feel free to send me an email or Mrs. Rudder an email, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. Good luck.